There comes a moment in every human life when the noise fades and a quiet truth begins to whisper, everything you've been searching for has been inside you all along. The world will try to convince you that power lies in titles, in wealth, in networks, in luck. But the greatest empire ever built was not made of stone, steel, or money. It was built within the mind in the sacred workshop of thought, faith, and relentless purpose. Look around. Every skyscraper that touches the clouds began as an invisible image in someone's mind. Every invention that reshaped humanity, the light bulb, the airplane, the automobile, was once just an idea held by a human who refused to doubt their own vision. Edison faced failure 10,000 times before light finally broke through. Ford was laughed out of boardrooms when he dreamed of a car for the common man. Walt Disney was fired from his job because they said he lacked imagination. But these men had something the world could not see, an invisible engine inside them, powered by belief, vision, and discipline. That engine is the power that builds empires, and that same power, yes, the very same lives within you. It doesn't care where you were born, what school you went to, or how many times you've fallen. It awakens the moment you decide to stop blaming the world and start mastering your mind. The weak wait for conditions to be perfect. The strong create the conditions they need. While others are complaining about lack of opportunity, the empire builder is forging one with their bare hands. They understand the eternal law. Thoughts become things. Your outer world will always bow to the image that rules your inner world. If you believe you are small, the universe will shrink to match that image. But the moment you see yourself as capable, as chosen, as unstoppable, every force of nature begins to align with that belief. You were not designed to live a life of quiet desperation. You were built for greatness, engineered by the same universal intelligence that painted galaxies and carved mountains. The only question is, will you wake up to that truth, or will you keep sleeping in the illusion of limitation? Because the world doesn't give you what you deserve, it gives you what you demand through the vibration of your belief. And belief is not a wish. It is not hope. Belief is a decision made with every action, every thought, every ounce of energy you give to your purpose. When you look in the mirror, you must see not what you are but what you are becoming. That's how empires rise. That's how ordinary men and women transcend their circumstances and write their names into eternity. The power that builds empires is not loud. It does not shout or boast. It works in silence, like the roots of a tree, deep, invisible, unshakable, and when the storm comes, it does not bend, because its strength was never built on surface appearances. It was built on inner foundation, faith, discipline, and clarity of vision. When you begin to master your thoughts, you begin to master your destiny. Every day, millions of people wake up reacting to life, but few wake up creating it. The difference between the two defines everything. You are not meant to react, you are meant to direct. You are the captain of your soul, the architect of your reality, the sculptor of your fate. But you cannot build an empire with a mind full of doubt. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever could. Doubt whispers, "You're not ready." Faith answers, "I will never be readier than now." There's a reason Napoleon Hill wrote that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. He was not giving a metaphor, he was revealing a law as real as gravity, as constant as sunrise. Your thoughts create patterns of vibration, and those vibrations attract the people, circumstances, and resources that match their frequency. That's why a mind filled with fear attracts struggle. A mind filled with gratitude attracts abundance, and a mind filled with purpose commands miracles. The question is, what signal are you sending? Every complaint, every negative assumption, every self-limiting thought sends a frequency that locks you in the same cycle you say you want to escape. But when you shift that signal, when you begin to think from your vision instead of your condition, the entire universe rearranges itself in your favor. That is not magic. That is mental science. It is the foundation upon which every empire has been built. Because no one ever built greatness by waiting for perfect conditions. They built it by perfecting their mindset, by cultivating the discipline to do the hard thing even when no one is watching, by sacrificing comfort for conviction, and by realizing that success is not something you chase, it is something you become. Discipline is the bridge between your belief and your destiny. It's the invisible thread that connects vision to reality. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to pay its price, and the currency is discipline. Discipline is doing what must be done long after the mood to do it has faded. It's showing up when no one claps. It's believing when there is no proof. It's planting seeds today for a harvest that might not come for years. Every empire in history was built not by dreamers alone, but by doers who turned their dreams into daily habits. Carnegie didn't build steel by wishing. He built it by working, refining, learning, and never stopping. Lincoln faced failure after failure, yet his discipline to rise again shaped the destiny of a nation. They understood that greatness is not a single act, it is repetition of excellence, done in private, until the world can no longer ignore it. Discipline is not a punishment, it's self-respect. When you discipline your mind, you tell the universe, I am serious about who I'm becoming. Because the truth is you cannot lead a chaotic mind to a peaceful destiny. You cannot expect fortune to obey you if you have not yet learned to obey yourself. Most people will never know what they are truly capable of because they quit at the first sign of discomfort. They trade their destiny for a moment of ease, but empire builders understand that pain is a teacher. Discomfort is a compass, it points you exactly where growth is hiding. If you can learn to love the process, the grind, the discipline, the lonely nights, the crown will come to you. Because success is not about talent, it's about consistency of faith. You can be brilliant and still fail if you lack discipline. You can be ordinary and still rise to greatness if you master it. And once discipline takes root, something miraculous happens. Your habits begin to carry you when motivation fades. You no longer need to force success. You become success. Your routine becomes your fortress. Your standards become your sword. Your vision becomes your religion. That's when the world starts to feel your presence not as a person trying to win, but as a force that cannot be ignored. Purpose is what gives discipline its fire. Without purpose, even hard work feels empty. But when you know why you're doing it, even suffering becomes sacred. Purpose is the compass that keeps you moving when logic tells you to quit. It is the quiet conviction that whispers, there is something greater within me waiting to be expressed. Most people drift because they have never defined what they're truly living for. They chase money, applause, validation, and still feel hollow, because purpose cannot be bought, borrowed, or imitated. It must be discovered in the silence of your own soul. Close your eyes and ask yourself, if I had all the time, all the resources, and all the power in the world, what would I dedicate my life to? That answer, the one that burns in your chest, is your purpose. Once you discover it, life changes. You stop chasing approval and start chasing excellence. You stop fearing failure because your purpose is greater than your pride. And when your purpose is clear, every challenge becomes a test, not a punishment. Look at every great empire. It wasn't built on profit alone. It was built on purpose. Edison's purpose was to bring light to darkness. Wright brothers' purpose was to give humanity wings. Their dreams were not just personal, they were generational. When your purpose serves others, your power multiplies. Because the universe does not reward selfish ambition, it rewards contribution. It rewards those who become channels for something greater than themselves. That's why the power that builds empires doesn't just lift the builder, it uplifts humanity. It doesn't just create wealth, it creates legacy. And here's the truth most people miss. Purpose doesn't eliminate struggle, it justifies it. When you have a reason strong enough, you can walk through fire without complaint. You can lose everything and still keep your spirit, because purpose gives meaning to pain. It transforms obstacles into teachers, failures into feedback, and setbacks into sacred preparation. The question is, what is your purpose powerful enough to make you unstoppable? Resilience is born the moment you refuse to stay down. Every empire builder has scars, but those scars are proof of survival, not defeat. Life will test you. It will strip you, break you, humble you. But resilience is what rebuilds you stronger than before. When everything collapses, resilience whispers, "I will rise again." When the world doubts you, resilience says, "Watch me." It's not the loudest voice, it's the quiet, stubborn heartbeat that refuses to quit. The greatest victories in history belong to those who could suffer longer, believe deeper, and rise faster than their pain. Because resilience is not born in success, it's forged in failure. It's the product of endurance, patience, and faith that tomorrow will justify today's struggle. So when you're tired, when your dreams seem far, when the results don't match your effort, remember this: every seed breaks before it grows. Every hero falls before they rise. Every empire is built twice, first in the mind, then in the world. Do not curse the struggle, thank it. It's not there to destroy you, it's there to reveal you.